Hoya is out here. I saw Soren boxing scene. He's saying he's blaming Eddie Hearn for the loss of Canelo. He's saying no one knew who Bivol was. Why would you put him in there with Bivol? He's stupid. He don't know how to promote. I wouldn't have done that. Like I don't know what. Like, look, here's what I'm getting off of this: De Loya's philosophy on promoting. I mean, is it correct, or is he arguing that it's a promoter's job to protect the fighters? Is that what he's arguing? And can that explain why we're getting Munguia against Jimmy Kelly? Because apparently he's basically what the lawyer is basically saying without realizing is that I protect my fighters. I don't put my fighters in there in risky fights. I just don't do it, and I have no idea why he's saying this out loud. Okay, so Beeb, I'm gonna start with you, brother. Talk to us. Is it Eddie Hearn's fault? Did he make a stupid mistake in handling Canelo so far? He's saying it was stupid to put him in there with the Bivol.
No, it was Canelo's fault for not taking the PBC deal. I mean, that was a better deal for him. But at the end of the day, De La Hoya is all about the best fighting the best, unless it's his fighters. I mean, that's what he said when he first became a promoter. I'm for the fighters. I'm for the best fighting the best. I want to make the fights fans want to see. But when he had Canelo, he was putting all those catch weight clauses and the rehydration clauses.
Yeah.
And as soon as Canelo left, you don't have any of those clauses. Let's be honest, and I'm just going to say this, and I don't care what anyone says. This was a guy that they felt was the perfect fight for them. Bivol. He was the smallest of the three light heavyweights. He was the lightest. Wasn't the hardest puncher. He's probably the least hardest puncher out of the three champions. He was the smallest out of the three champions. They saw all these things, and this was a tough fight, but it wasn't a dangerous fight compared to the Beterbiev fight and the Joe Smith Jr. fight, because those guys are big, strong guys that can punch, and Joe Smith is a volume guy. Bivol's not really a volume guy, so I just think that this was just this turned out to be a hand-picked fight gone wrong, in my opinion. And I say that with all due respect to Bivol. I don't mean to disrespect Bivol at all, but I'm gonna be honest. I didn't see this coming. I know True Schools saw it all along, and I give him props for that. He saw it all along, but I didn't see it coming. I didn't think Bivol looked great against Greg Richards. I thought in some of his other fights he was a little bit uninspired. But maybe this was the fight he needed to really, get the juices flowing. So no,
unmotivated.
But is De Loya's criticism on Eddie Hearn accurate in your opinion?
Oh, it's totally
sour grapes. What do you think it is?
It's totally ridiculous. It's just it is sour grapes. You hit the nail right on the head.
Okay, Corey Lee. Before you gotta go, give us your take on this, brother.
All right, man. Bivol, man. I think I think he did what he had to do. I'm not gonna lie, man. I should have probably looked more into this. This is one of the fights of the whole year that I've been thinking about over and over and over, because I'm not gonna say it caught me by surprise, because I definitely thought Bivol. I was like, how is Canelo gonna work with this reach and this weight advantage that Bivol has, And it's just like the more and more I thought about it, I'm like, well, Canelo's going to find a way. Canelo's going to find a way. Canelo's going to find a way. But the more and more I think about it, Canelo had so many close decisions leading up into this fight. A lot of people thought he was losing that Kovalev fight, And a lot of people thought he was losing. Well, some people thought he was losing the Plant fight. So if he didn't get those knockouts late, then it could have been a different story. So he did not get that knockout late with the Bivol situation. So I just felt like the writing was on the wall. I just didn't look. I guess a lot of us, maybe all of us, didn't look as closely as we probably should have. But I'm going to be honest. I think the rematch goes the same. That's probably why he's not rematching him right now. I think he's going to try to use some type of advantage going into that rematch. But Canelo definitely said that he wants the rematch. And I don't think it's over yet. I don't think the Bivol-Canelo saga is over. I don't think he can live with himself with that. He can't get that Mayweather rematch, because Mayweather's never going to give him another rematch. So he's got to stay with that one loss. But I don't think this Bivol is over yet. I don't think it's over yet. I don't think it's sitting well with him. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, before I head out, does this Bivol fight linger over Canelo's head in the Triple G fight? He doesn't need any distractions in the Triple G fight. He needs this Triple G fight, with Triple G being older. I mean, to me, it's kind of razor thin still, and I just think that, Canelo, I don't know where his mindset is. I know his mindset's got to be a little off after this, though, man. I know it's got to be a little off, So.
Hey, Corey Lee, I know you got to get going, brother. I want to thank you for coming on. Hope to have you in the future. You have a good one, brother.
Thank you so much, y'all, man. Y'all can follow me at Corey Lee Boxing on YouTube and Instagram. And shout out to the whole cast and the round table, man. You guys are great guys, man. And I'll be sure to check out y'all channels as well. Y'all have a great day.
Absolutely,
shout out Corey. Shout out Corey.
Shout out to you, brother. Hey, Chusco, I just want to make sure. So the question is, Oscar De La Hoya made comments about Eddie Hearn, and he's saying Eddie Hearn doesn't know what he's doing. He put him in there with a guy that nobody knows. What are your thoughts on De La Hoya's comments about Eddie Hearn?
I think it's just jealousy. I think he's just mad that Canelo's not with him and making him the money. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I think ever since the whole when Golden Boy had Schaefer and Heyman and all them guys, when they split, I think that's when he got even more protective with the matchmaking. Because you look at even now, recently with Zorro, I'm a boxing nerd, but I know fighters that are the most obscure fighters in the rankings, but I had no clue who Dominic Bozell was when Zorro fought him. And so they're really being selective with how they matchmake. I think his criticisms are very off. I think the only reason Bivol got the fight against Canelo in the first place was because he looked pedestrian against Umar Salamov and Craig Richards. If he doesn't look pedestrian in those fights, and let's say he looked like he did against Barrera or Joe Smith Jr., I don't think – well, we don't got to think. Canelo vacated the belt after he beat Kovalev. Before we could even talk about Bivol in 2019, he vacated the belt when Bivol was looking good in his fights. So it took those performances, and even Eddie Hearn said himself, there's a video of Eddie Hearn telling Bivol and his manager, hey, I didn't think you were going to look this good, because you had these performances against these fighters, but I was wrong. So that's why I got the fight.
Kalich, what do you think of De La Hoya's comments, brother?
It's right here, Cap.
There you go, Cap.
It's Cap. It is. It's what the young kids call it, Cap. It's just he also said today, D-Style, that he's running for mayor of Las Vegas. He also said that he got 8-figure offer for somebody to buy Golden Boy. So he's just throwing stuff out there for people to post online. It's just I don't know what he was doing today, D-Style. I have no idea. Him and Floyd. D-Style, him and Floyd are just all – and by the way, I just found out Floyd's going to fight on the helipad on October 1st. He's really going to fight on the helipad this time.
Thank God, finally.
So him and Floyd, it's just you take whatever they say with a grain of salt. It's Cap. The frustrating part about it is I quite like some things coming up with Golden Boy. I don't like what they're doing with Munguia with the light touches, but I do like that they're keeping him busy every 2-3 months, at least keeping him out there, getting highlight reel KOs until they finally step up. I agree with what was just said about Zerto, but I like Ryan Garcia. What's going on with him in July with the fight with Fortuna? I think they're going to do Jojo Diaz later in the year after that. So there are some things to like as far as what Golden Boy is doing right now. There are some things to dislike, but as far as the comments, it's all Cap. Do you really think he's going to run for mayor of Las Vegas, D-Style?
No, I don't think he's going to run for mayor of Las Vegas. But I don't. Could you imagine his political rivals with all the material they got? Holy shit, bro!
Floyd should run against him. That'd be.
He's the last guy that needs to run for office for any sort of political.
With all the shit he says. Now somebody said, "Oh, he just trolls." Look, man, I really don't. I just think he just says stupid things sometimes. There's people that just say dumb. It's not because they're trolling or they're being sarcastic. Some people just say stupid things.
Yeah.
And De La Hoya says a lot of stupid things. He just does. And why are you publicly saying things like, "Oh, I wanted to put him in there"? No, nobody knows who he is. And then what happens, Oscar? Whenever there's a fight proposed for let's say Ryan. And then somebody says, "Hey, you didn't want to put Ryan in the ring with this guy," and then you say, "Oh, that's bullshit. That's not true." Wow, look at how you're talking about this. Like I think Oscar De La Hoya has an old school philosophy. I think there's a little bit in Mayweather, even as a promoter, there's a little bit in Bob Arum. They don't think about like undisputed the way this is the undisputed era. This is the era where guys want to unify. Inoue wants to become undisputed now. Fulton wants to become undisputed. Shakur wants to become undisputed. That's what's happened. That's the trajectory. That's what the fans want at the moment. And these guys, they have like other ideas. Okay, Oscar De La Hoya just a couple like months ago was talking about how Ryan is bigger than the belts. Oh, he's bigger than the like. How could he say that as a like? Even if it was true, as a boxing promoter, how do you say that? Like that's a stupid thing to say.